it's Lexi at Cozy Tea Cafe over on Bookstagram, and today I'm going to be summarizing Enchantra by Kaylie Smith, which is book 2 in the Wicked Games series. Just like Phantasma, this summary is going to be a little different because this is book 2 in a series of interconnected standalones. So none of the plots really overlap all that much. There are similar characters and some Easter eggs, but again, it's not a true series. So just like in the last summary, I'm going to put cut points of things that I think might be important before the next book. It's called Daemonica, so I have to assume it has to do with the Daemonica Secret Society. So anytime that is mentioned in this summary, again, I'll put those cut points in the caption. As always, this summary will be full of spoilers, so if you have not read Enchantra and you don't want spoilers for it, don't continue watching. So in this book, Genevieve Grimm is in Rome being stalked by a murder of crows who seem to want her to leave the city. Her sister Ophelia planned an itinerary for her trip, but Genevieve has other intentions for being in Rome after she received a letter from a man named Barrington Silver addressed to her late mother Tessie, urging her to come to the Enchantra estate before the eve of the spring equinox, but she's been procrastinating. She finally leaves after the crows chase her to her townhouse and peck at her windows until she packs and leaves. While Genevieve is on the train to Florence, she reflects on feeling like an only child growing up because her mom focused all of her energy on training Ophelia's powers, so Genevieve kept her own specter abilities that she inherited from her dad a secret. After finding an old photo of Tessie and Barrington Silver wearing matching lockets, Genevieve wanted to learn more about her mom's past and her own abilities. We learn that Genevieve secretly forged Tessie's signature in letters to Barrington before her mom died, and by the time Barrington finally responded, she was already dead. Genevieve arrives at Enchantra, but beyond the gates, there's just an empty field. Crows start pecking berries off the gate, and Genevieve remembers the letter mentioning demon berries, so she eats them, and the field transforms to reveal a massive villa. She has a flashback of Pharaoh Henry, the man who broke her heart, and remembers him calling her a demon and threatening to burn her. She turns invisible to enter the gates, but a black fox steals Barrington's letter and leads her through a hedge maze. After catching up to it, Genevieve notices one of the crows collapse with a swollen belly from the berries. Then she suddenly becomes disoriented and senses a man carrying her. Then she passes out. She wakes up outside the gates and can't see the villa, but remembers what happened. She uses her magic to pass through the wards again and knocks on the front door, where the same man who carried her out tells her to leave and repeatedly slams the door in her face. So she turns invisible and lets herself in. The villa is beautiful but dusty and decaying, and there are strange portraits of people beside animals, and all of the mirrors are covered. Genevieve finds the ballroom and sees the fox from earlier with a girl from one of the portraits named Ellen. Ellen questions how Genevieve got in and asks if she's with Rowington. Ellen's brother Seven appears and warns her to leave before Knox or Grave find her, mentioning that the hunt begins tomorrow. Genevieve sneaks downstairs while they're distracted, but is cornered by Rowan, who warns her that she has no idea what she's walked into. Shadows swirl around him as his fox, Umbra, appears, and Barrington Silver arrives looking exactly the same as he did from the photo taken decades earlier. Barrington realizes Genevieve is Tessie's daughter and explains the wards will burn her alive if she tries to leave now. He explains that the wards were placed by a powerful devil named Knox, who bound Barrington to him as his familiar after an impulsive deal. Barrington married a demon named Vera, and together they had 7 children who go by Grave, Coven, Rowan, Remy, Seven, Wells, and Ellen, and they're all wraiths. Vera became sick with an incurable disease called crimson rot, and Knox tricked the family into participating in an annual hunt where everyone trapped in Enchantra on the eve of the spring equinox must either survive or be sent to hell until the following year in exchange for a year's worth of medicine for Vera. The mirrors throughout the villa serve as looking glasses, so spectators in hell can watch the hunt like some sort of sick reality show. Barrington and Rowan tell Genevieve, nicknamed Vivi, that Knox will kill her because she's not a silver, but she can survive if she enters the hunt as Rowan's wife through the marriage loophole. If she plays as a team with Rowan and they win, they'll both be freed from the hunt forever, but Vivi refuses and runs. Knox speaks to Vivi through a mirror, and when she says she's Rowan's fiancé, he pulls her into a twisted version of the estate where she sees fake versions of Rowan and Seven. She's wounded, escaping them, kills the fake Seven, and crawls back through the mirror into Enchantra. Vivi runs out and into the maze, and Rowan's twin Remy finds her, and it's clear that Remy cares for Rowan but resents him for winning nearly every hunt while the others are continuously trapped in hell. Vivi still refuses to marry Rowan, so he makes her a deal that if she can beat him through the maze, she can compete alone, but if not, they'll marry by midnight. He wins using magic and carries her back inside after the wards stop her from leaving. Rowan gives her a tour of Enchantra and explains that each round of the hunt is slightly different. Later, she sees one of the brothers with a snake tattoo carving lines into his stomach. Ellen helps Vivi prepare for the wedding and explains that in addition to winning the hunt, they can also earn the title of Favored from Hell's spectators and receive a boon from Knox's treasure trove. Seven usually wins this, but she has a good chance because of the wedding. Genevieve and Rowan marry, and then she faints. Genevieve wakes up with Umbra and overhears the Silver siblings discussing the hunt. Rowan insists that his victories help him continue searching for a cure for their mother's illness, but Grave doesn't think it exists. Afterward, Rowan explains to Genevieve that magic is restricted during each of the rounds of the hunt, and she likely passed out when she felt her magic go away. Back in their room, Rowan tells Genevieve that they have to trust each other completely if they want to survive. He gives her an onyx ring that gets hot when danger is near, and she notices it's cold around him. She agrees to work together, and later that night has another nightmare about Pharaoh. Ellen helps Genevieve prepare for the masquerade ball, and Knox gives her a rabbit mask. During the ball, Genevieve's ring grows hot when a devil named Cedric approaches and offers her a deal. Barrington later explains more about his friendship with Tessie and says their rift started because he didn't want her to enter Phantasma. He explains that his locket was lent to him by Knox, but Tessie's was a soul lock, which is a tie-in to Book 1, where we learned that Salem's lover Angel had her soul locked in the locket, and Ophelia was her reincarnation. Genevieve learns that Ellen and Wells are also twins, and Knox introduces her to the spectators and forces her and Rowan to drink a pink cocktail that fills them with lust. Rowan fights the effects and hides them both in shadows, then leaves and tells her not to follow him. Genevieve finds Rowan being tied to a bed by a beautiful woman and gets jealous, but he explains that he asked her to restrain him so he wouldn't touch Genevieve. Afterward, Cedric corners her and is shocked when he sees she's a specter. Then Rowan and Seven intervene and threaten him, but Cedric says he's protected by the Daemonica. On her way out, Genevieve tells Knox about her close relationship with Salem, and he seems disturbed by this. Knox announces the first round, and the Hunting Blade selects Grave as hunter. He chooses roaming rooms, giving everyone 10 minutes to hide. Rowan tells Vivi to wait in the foyer, but when he doesn't come back, she hides outside in the hedge maze and barely escapes Grave by hiding behind a trellis. Vivi finds Rowan after escaping, and he explains that during roaming rooms, they have to switch hiding places every 4 hours, so it's dangerous during the switches. They play 2 truths and a lie while they hide together in a secret passage, which is kind of a thing they do throughout the book to learn more about each other. And Vivi learns Rowan has barely traveled beyond Florence in years because he refuses to enjoy freedom while his siblings remain trapped in hell. During the first room switch, Grave attacks them and Rowan throws the hunting blade out the window so they can escape. Rowan explains that there are different enchanted rooms each round of the hunt, that each contain different deadly landscapes and an immunity key for the next round in each one. While hiding in the library's secret chamber, Rowan admits he keeps winning because his siblings gave up searching for a cure for their mother, and he's the only one who has not stopped trying. He asks her about Pharaoh after hearing Genevieve mention him, but they're interrupted by another room switch. Genevieve and Rowan hide in the kitchen dumbwaiter while Grave kills Wells, marking the first kill of the hunt. Grave finds them and stabs Rowan and knocks him out, then wounds Genevieve, but she's able to use her powers to escape right as the round ends and she gets her magic back. She wakes up and learns that Rowan convinced Ellen to heal her while she slept. At dinner, Genevieve learns that Ellen is the only light wraith. Rowan, Wells, and Remy are shadow wraiths and can control darkness. Seven and Coven are blood wraiths and can heal, and Grave is a void wraith, which is extremely rare. Vivi becomes increasingly determined to help break the family curse and goes to the library. Then Knox shows up and warns her that the spectators expect entertainment from her and Rowan, meaning something sexual. Grave attacks Vivi in the library and uses his power to make time stop, but she has another flashback of Pharaoh. Her and Pharaoh were supposed to go to a ball together, but he bailed on her after his parents found out she was supernatural, and he revealed he was never going to marry her. When time starts again, Vivi remains solid, but uses her specter abilities to turn everything else in the room invisible, and the knife passes right through her. Rowan shows up, and both him and Grave are shocked that she used her powers in that kind of way. Before the next round, Genevieve finds letters in Rowan's desk, including one addressed to her house in New Orleans. The hunting blade selects Remy next, and he chooses random starts, which scatters everyone across Enchantra. Genevieve goes to Rowan's room and sees his lip is bleeding, then feels her ring heat and realizes this is Remy who just pierced his lip to pretend to be Rowan, so she rips the piercing out and runs. Rowan finds Vivi in the hidden library room after she twisted her ankle, and when they leave, Remy attacks them again, and Vivi pushes a bookshelf onto him so she and Rowan can escape. They go into an enchanted meadow room with a glowing pond that appears to be a puzzle that will grant them immunity for the next round. While they try to solve the puzzle, Vivi finally tells Rowan the truth about Pharaoh. They met at 15, then he ghosted her, and she gave him another chance years later after he came back and courted her and promised to marry her. Then he broke up with her at the ball and said he was engaged and leaving the next day. Later, Pharaoh found Vivi and their mutual friend Basile kissing in a parade float, and he set the float on fire with them inside, which left Basile badly burned. Genevieve solves the pond puzzle by stepping on the stones in ascending order of how many white fish swim out when the stones are stepped on. A crimson fish emerges when they pass, and when Umbra jumps in to grab it, the water turns to blood and fills with piranhas. Vivi nearly dies saving Umbra, and Ellen heals her in exchange for the coin, and when she wakes up, Rowan thanks her for risking her life to save his familiar. Vivi and Rowan get physical, and then he helps her untangle her hair in the bath, and she's disappointed when he refers to their relationship as no strings attached. During Genevieve's birthday feast, the siblings share secrets, then stab Barrington in the back as punishment for their situation as a family tradition. Seven announces that Gareth Serpentine, son of one of the most powerful demon clans in Hell, proposed to Ellen at the masquerade, and Ellen says Coven has been sleeping with Gareth's sister, Nessa. Rowan reveals he killed Cedric during the masquerade with Seven's help, which alarms Barrington because of the Daemonica, and Genevieve learns that they're a prestigious secret society for demons. During the next round, Ellen uses the immunity token, and the hunting blade chooses Seven, and he picks solitary confinement, which forces players to stay in one room for the whole round. Rowan finally admits he was the one secretly corresponding with Genevieve all along, because Barrington would have never answered her forged letters. He originally believed he was writing to Ophelia and hoped she knew something about curing the Crimson Rot. Rowan notices that she's hurt by this and says that he's happy she's the one he was writing to. They end up inside a dark, enchanted forest room filled with distorted mirrors, and they finally sleep together. Then Seven and his wolf familiar Dante hunt Genevieve through the forest until she escapes into a strange mirror world and sees an imposter version of herself that turns into a shadow creature when she touches it, and she grabs another crimson token from the creature's chest, but she's left with a big scar down her face from her eyebrow to her chin. When she comes back out of the mirror, she realizes that Rowan is still there and the round is over, and it's been hours since she originally went in. Later, Genevieve overhears that Seven and Coven made bets about whether she and Rowan would sleep together, and she believes Rowan participated and storms out, but he chases after her and assures her that he had nothing to do with the bet. Rowan and Genevieve spend their immunity round at Nox's estate in Greed, the third circle of hell, and Nox reveals that Genevieve is currently leading the vote for favored. They see demons in town who treat them like celebrities for this twisted sort of reality show. Genevieve meets Rowan's mom, Vera, and Vera immediately adores her, and Rowan gifts Genevieve an engraved bracelet that says, "The light is wherever you are." Seven arrives in hell after being killed in the hunt, and his body is bubbling and steaming from the blade's magic, so Genevieve stays with him and comforts him. She mentions seeing Coven cutting himself before the hunt, and Seven explains that since he and Coven are blood wraiths, magic builds up in their blood and needs to be released every so often. She asks whether it's possible to fall in love in only a few days, and he believes it is. Nox invites Genevieve into his trove if she agrees to have her memory of the inside wiped, everything except for whatever she chooses as her favored token. And she learns that Nox created Crimson Rot and has had the cure this whole time. He offers her the cure if she convinces Ophelia to abandon Salem, so he will go back to hell willingly. Genevieve refuses, and he destroys the cure, and her memories of the conversation are wiped. Back in Enchantra, Rowan acts distant after his meeting with Nox. The Hunting Blade chooses Ellen for the 5th round, and she picks birds and stones, meaning whoever they encounter during the round will have to stay with them until the round ends. Genevieve and Rowan argue, and they end up hiding in separate spaces. Then Genevieve goes back inside, and Ellen apologizes before attacking her. Then Rowan snaps Ellen's neck, which doesn't actually kill her because the only way they can die is by the Hunting Blade because they're immortal. While hiding together, Rowan finally reveals that Nox offered him a deal to betray Genevieve in the last round in exchange for his freedom, but he turned it down because he believes they belong together, and then they sleep together. Coven interrupts them, which means he has to stay with them until the end of the round. Ellen shows up at the end of the round and kills Coven. Later, while Rowan is gone, Grave finds Vivi and reveals that Nox secretly told him that if Rowan wins permanently, the rest of the siblings will lose their loophole access, and they'll remain trapped in the hunt forever with no way of getting out. Grave attacks Genevieve, but Ellen stops him and says Vivi is one of them now, and makes it clear she intends to help her and Rowan win. The Hunting Blade chooses Rowan, and he picks Ready or Not, which doesn't allow for a head start. Ellen is willingly killed by Rowan, and Rowan convinces Grave to leave them alone until the final round. Before the last match begins, Rowan tells Genevieve that whatever happens, she saved him. At the final round, Nox tells Vivi she won favored, and she receives the boon she chose from her trip to the Trove. Nox changes the rules since there are 3 people left at the final match instead of the usual 2, and he offers to free all of the Silver siblings if Rowan and Grave kill Genevieve within the hour while using their full powers, and Rowan apologizes and chases Genevieve into the maze. The 3 of them corner Genevieve in the hedge maze, and we learn that Vivi, Rowan, Grave, and Ellen secretly planned to trick Nox together. Grave freezes Nox while Genevieve uses her boon, a soul lock, to trap her soul as Rowan drives the Hunting Blade into her heart. Grave planted this idea in Nox's head to create a new rule that pitted both brothers against Genevieve so they could use their powers against him and, in turn, save all of the Silver siblings. Genevieve wakes up back in New Orleans with Salem, and he explains that 4 days ago, Rowan and Grave delivered her body and soul lock to him after she died, and Salem was only able to revive her by removing all memories connected to the person she loved. Over the following weeks, Genevieve receives letters from Rowan telling her their story and promising he will never stop searching for a way to restore her memories. One day, she sees a handsome stranger in the quarter who offers her a ring, which she doesn't know is the same ring from Enchantra, and she has an urge to accept it even though she doesn't remember this man or the ring. Over the coming weeks, she has strange dreams, and one night she has the urge to put this ring on, and all of her memories come flooding back. At the end, Genevieve then sees one of Rowan's memories and learns that he bargained with the King of Hell to restore her memories by tying his lifespan to hers, making himself mortal as soon as she willingly put on the ring. With her memories restored, she also remembers that Nox revealed that a cure to crimson rot exists, and she runs into the night to find Rowan waiting for her in the shadows, and he's been there every night for the past 2 months, hoping she would remember. Weeks later, Seven and Grave visit New Orleans searching for leads on a cure for crimson rot, and Ellen sends a letter revealing that there have been rumors that a secret Daemonica society possesses a cure, so Seven will be joining as a pledge to learn more. So that is where book 2 ends. Again, book 3 is called Daemonica. I don't think a blurb has been released yet, but I think it's going to follow Seven as he joins the Daemonica and tries to find a cure for crimson rot. So book 3 comes out later this year. As always, if there are any books you would like me to summarize, just leave me a comment, and thanks for watching.